One of the reasons people are struggling to find the right person is because they're focusing on the wrong thing when they are getting to know people. What's going on, guys? Josh Love Talk here, back with another dating video. In today's video, I want to talk about 5 things you should pay attention to when you're dating. See, with the dating market at the moment, it seems like people are not focusing on the right thing. People are going off of vibes, off of chemistry, attractions. Don't get me wrong, these things are cool and they have their place, but people are not getting to know the right things about the people they like, and hence the reason dating tends to be failing. So in this video, I'm going to give you some things to look up for, and these things should help you decide if you're in a healthy or unhealthy dating situation. The first thing I want to talk about is making sure you and the person you're talking to want the same thing. See, if you're talking to someone but they don't want the same thing as you, they don't have the same end goal in mind as you, then you are going to be wasting your time. If you're talking to someone, say you want a relationship and the person you're talking to just wants to smash, and you keep talking for months and months and months and months, at some point you figure out that it's not compatible and you have to go separate ways. But the thing is, you would have wasted your time talking to that person for so long, and then you have to start all over again. So when you're dating someone, the first thing you want to get to know is, what do they want? And set your expectations in terms of, this is what I want, this is my standard. Now, do you want the same thing as me? Because if you don't, then there's no point talking. There's no point even doing anything. There's no point getting, sex involved, getting attached. There's no point, because it's just going to be a waste of time, or it's going to end up in a lot of pain and heartbreak, and you don't want that. And I should also say that because somebody is showing interest in you does not mean that they want the same thing as you. I could be talking to someone and saying all the things they need to hear, but it could just be for my own end goal. It's not because I want a relationship. Maybe I just want them for their buddy, and so women also do this. Some women talk to guys, they just want them for maybe the lifestyle or the money or just whatever. At the end of the day, it comes down to make sure you and the person you're talking to want the same thing. The second thing you should be paying attention to when you're dating is the patterns of their behavior. How do they act? Can you see consistency in the way they're acting? See, if you're talking to somebody and you can see flaws in the way they talk to you, in the way they communicate, in the way they behave, don't ignore it. Don't think, oh cool, it's just that one time, they will change. Because what I've noticed is, and most people know this, every time a dating situation goes wrong, right? If you track back, the things that you saw the person doing, they were doing right from the start. But because you were so up in your feelings, you were so focused on attraction, you didn't pay attention to those things. You were more focused on just, this person is great, this is the kind of person I want, let's get this over the line. But the behaviors have always been there. So you have to pay attention to their patterns of behavior. Because if you don't, then you would miss red flags that's going to end up killing the dating situation anyways. And once again, you would have wasted your time. So pay attention to their behavioral patterns. The third thing you should pay attention to when you're dating is how they communicate. Communication is the bedrock of any relationship. If you want to be with somebody and get far with them, the communication has to be on point. And I've seen and I've heard dating situations where they're talking to someone and the person they're talking to says to them, you can only call me at this time, or I don't do calls, just text me. And people actually go along with those dating situations. That just sounds wow to me. I don't get it. I don't understand how you can be talking to someone and you can only text, you cannot call, or you can only call at certain points. And people go along with that. For me, that's just a pure red flag. If somebody is into you, they want the same thing as you, they see this going somewhere, they want to get to know you. And how do you get to know someone other than talking to them? It's not just about dates. Okay, it's not just about going on dates and having fancy meals and Netflix and chilling. No, talking, communicating, sharing, like building that trust and openness. That's what comes from constant communication. So pay attention to how they communicate and how consistent they are. So if you're talking to somebody that's talking to you today and then they disappear for 1 week and they come back again, then you know that person is not serious about you. That is not a situation you should be investing in. Okay, pay attention to how they communicate. Are they open? When you ask them questions, do they respond or are they defensive? You know, what is their tone like? Do they shut you down? Do they raise their voice for no reason? How do they handle controversy? Little things like that matter. It tells you a lot about the person's personality. So once again, don't just depend on vibes, don't depend on chemistry and overlook this thing. These are the things that will determine if you are dating the right person or not. And based on that, you can decide whether you want to go ahead or you want to step away. The fourth thing you want to pay attention to is, do they share the same values as you? Values are important because for me, they form the essence of our personality. Okay, the values we have shows how we deal with people, how we deal with life. It reveals our outlook on situations, how we see ourselves. So if you're dealing with somebody that doesn't have the same value as you, there's already a difference that you cannot bridge. And I understand, of course, people are not going to be exactly the same, but you should be compatible when it comes to values. See, when people think about compatibility in dating, people are focused on, do we like the same movies? Do we like the same music? Do we like going out together? The kind of activities we like to do. And that's cool, but if they don't share the same values as you, you are going to hit a rock in that dating situation. Or even if you make it to a relationship, it's not going to survive because the values we share determines how much we can grow together and how much we can complement one another. So you want to check their values and make sure that their values are similar to yours, or you can both live with each other's values. Because if you don't, you're going to run into problems. Not having the same values will cause a lot of frictions, a lot of arguments, and things that you cannot repair. The last one I want to talk about is how they respect you and your boundaries. When you're dating somebody and you tell them something and you set a boundary, how do they react to your boundary, or how do they respond to your boundary? There are some people, as soon as you set boundaries, they become defensive, they become abusive even, and that's telling you that they are not the right person for you. That is a red flag you should not overlook. Or when you set boundaries, they're constantly trying to push the boundaries, they're trying to go beyond the boundaries. That shows that they do not respect you, or they don't want the same thing as you. When you're dating, make sure you set boundaries, and make sure that it's boundaries that you are going to stick to, and they must stick to it. Because as soon as you set a boundary, you are setting a standard for yourself. But if you don't take your standards seriously, no one else is going to take your standards seriously. So the first thing you need to do when you set your boundaries is make sure you enforce it. And when you enforce your boundary, make sure that you're dealing with somebody that will not try to break it or will not disrespect your boundary, because that shows how much they value you. And these are the things I feel like people should pay attention to when they are dating. You need those things to set a foundation to build a relationship on, because if you don't, then you're going to run into problems even before you get into relationship. And this is why people are dating but it's not working out, and they're experiencing so much problems at the dating stage. One of the reasons people are struggling to find the right person is because they're focusing on the wrong thing when they're getting to know people. Well, that's me for today, guys. Let me know what you think. Make sure you like, leave comments below, and make sure you share, and also make sure you subscribe. Thank you for listening, guys. Catch you on the next one.